Okay, test the microphone, testing the microphone, and all that good stuff. Welcome everybody. Give me a second, and I will. Okay, let's go ahead and switch to, I guess, just temporarily. Sounds all right. Welcome to the stream. Anybody that's in here, that's actually in here. You know, um, I don't know. I guess some people, and usually when there's a lot of people that would watch, I suppose they wait for people to come in. But I know there's a max of 7 is all I've gotten in here, um, up to this date. Max of 7 inside. Usually 2 to 3, sometimes 1. It looks like I'm doing better though, which is cool. Thanks to everybody. Um, and if you know anybody that likes this kind of stuff, maybe you can tell them about it. And if you don't, if you're just, you know, if you're just doing it just to be nice, that's cool too, I guess. um, if you don't like, you don't really like it, but you're just like, oh well, I should just give this guy, I pity this guy, and so I'm just gonna put him on in the background, and just so he gets a little something, you know. That's all right too, I guess. Anywho, uh, so okay, so this is the first fourth day trying to do my new quote unquote schedule or whatever. As you can see, I am a few minutes late. I should have been starting at 10 till. It's a little bit different this morning. I actually got lawn work done. In fact, our internet was out, and I guess I was awake early enough. I got some stuff in the kitchen done, some kitchen stuff done. I got some lawn work done. We actually went out and got some breakfast at McDonald's. Um, and then back here, and I'm mostly on time. I'm a little bit late, like I said. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how this whole thing is going. Whenever I try to do the short time periods, it doesn't seem to really work out that well. Because it takes me a little while to kind of get into the groove. It's like I got stuff here that I can do that I can actually expand my whole time doing. In other words, I could spend the whole 3 hours just working on this alone. I can almost do that with the coding because I pretty much know what I'm working on, what I need to do next, and all that stuff. But when it comes to the drawing, I don't know. I'm still pretty hopeless when it comes to drawing. It's not just that I draw bad. It's not. I mean, it's one thing if I drew something and it wasn't very good, bad proportions, or something that was bad about it. It wouldn't be a problem because I'd still be able to do it. Like I'd still produce something. But in this case, the way my hands shake, the fact that I got a kind of limited desk space, um, I don't have a keyboard drawer, so uh, the keyboard's on the desktop, which is actually my preference because um, I'm always in danger of pushing the keyboard back in because I like to almost be super close to my screen, and so if I'm further away out, I'm always trying to push in or whatever, and with a keyboard pull out, that's not that feasible. On the flip side, I have this really large monitor, and it's actually taken a good, like, over half the vertical space, or depth. I guess. If you're looking at it flat on, it would be height. But if you're sitting in 3D space, it's actually depth. But it's taken like a majority of that. So I have this really small limited area. I also have this TV on the side acting as a secondary monitor. It's widescreen also, even though it's smaller. And so it's like I don't really have a lot of room on my desk, and I got a bunch of crap to the right of this monitor. But even if that stuff wasn't there, I'd have to push to get more room. I'd have to push the TV further to the side, which means it'd be farther away for me to see. And then the other thing is my glasses. I usually like to be up close because I can see better. If I'm further away, I need glasses, and my glasses, I let's just say I need new glasses, and I don't have any money for new glasses, so I'm not using new glasses. And I usually prefer not even wearing my glasses, just because my eyes have gotten to a point where they're not very good. Um, Certainly not close up. Now I got the thing where I can't see close up like I used to, and just the age related deal. So I don't know. It's a it's a little pushing and pulling here. If I set the TV back, um, then I might have to wear the glasses, and the glasses bug me because um, they're not um, they're not accurate anymore. And then if I have a like I said, if I had a keyboard drawer, I end up pushing the drawer in because I didn't want to scoot up close to the deal. And because of this, I have limited space. And then I have my drawing tablet. And my drawing tablet's sitting over here on the side, and usually I have to put my keyboard aside to be able to use the drawing tablet because there's no room. I mean, I could technically put it on my lap, but it's not like it's not like I could, it's this, right? So it's not like I can really draw. I mean, I could well, I could can kind of. Actually, I'm sitting away. Actually, that's not bad. Well, you know, when I need to get back to the keyboard though, I have to reach over the drawing tablet. Drawing tablet's not too huge. I might try doing it this way, in fact. But like I said, I don't have a whole lot of room. This might be good. I don't know. We'll have to see when I get to uh, the drawing periods today. I guess I'm not doing 2 periods for drawing because I'm still trying to get grips with actually trying to draw something, you know. But anywho, let me go back to. In fact, you couldn't even see any of this until you could see the desktop again. This stuff, so I can do all this stuff. I can spend all my time doing this stuff. In fact, I got a bunch of it to do, so that's why I was doing most of it like that. The only reason I'm trying to do the period thing here is because to make it more interesting, so people when they do come in won't leave. I've heard of people in RC and various places actually uh, like coming in and then leaving because either I'm on break or back when I was showing my video editing, I was doing the editing. I wasn't doing part of it. I wasn't doing the programming, but now I'm actually doing programming, and even that's kind of boring, And it'd be more interesting to have something visual like the images. Except I can't draw. I can't draw in, I don't know, this way or the modern time. I don't know how you say it, honestly. Because I used to be good at copying cartoon characters. I could copy real like photographs and stuff, and mostly all I could do is copy. Nothing from imagination per se. But like some people can just do stuff from imagination. I can't seem to do that, or at least I haven't did the right training that would allow me to actually do that. So yeah, so we're gonna attempt drawing again, and I'll attempt drawing tomorrow. And if in either today or tomorrow I don't get anywhere with the drawing part of it, then I'm gonna revert back to just these two things, and I'll think about the drawing later on in the future. In fact, the fact that it's many phases down the road means that I can spend time if I ever get free time, which I don't usually get, but if I ever do, I could spend time learning drawing, and by the time I get to the phase that requires the drawing, I will actually be up to date, up to speed. So we'll see. Um, Anyways, I should actually get to work here because right now I only have half an hour, and I got plenty more things to actually go through. I need to finish this what I call is this page, which is basically the original page, which is where he tells them just to go to the schools, and that was just a single page. So uh, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and finish um, the thing where you get the knight to pass out or you hit him over the head. make him sleep that way so you can take his badge. Um, and then we'll see if I can get to the build a badge part and see if there's anything interesting choice wise that I can make out of it before actually getting actually into night school proper. Anyways, set the night, get the night to pass out, which shouldn't be too hard. Now, like I said, the reason I probably wanted to do mapping is because I got different locations and I don't really know where they're supposed to sit. I'm envisioning I'm envisioning a scene where you come on it and to your right on the screen, um, to your right, not not my right, but anyways, to your right. The part of the school is basically covering up this area, and the gates on the one side. Obviously, it's going to be on the opposite side of your screen, so I'm going to be pointing. My right is this way when it's actually pointing left on the screen, but you can tell the way I'm facing if you know your left from your right, obviously. Anyways, so on the right of the screen is going to be the entrance, and so you're going to have the purchase there. You're going to have the gate behind the guards. I say purchase because the guards are actually parrots on perches with the armor kind of propped up around them, and how they're able to lift their weapons to stop anybody from going in is anybody's guess, but that's how it works, anyways. So it's there, and to actually get into now, I might do a thing where it kind of goes. The way I'm envisioning it is I'm envisioning it if you're on the right side of the screen and then you go into the distance, the school's off in the distance. So your enrollment tent is actually behind like the cordon, or I don't know if I'm doing a wooden gate or if I'm just doing like some sort of cordon with guards paced up and down, or some such. Maybe it's a wooden fence, just a standard wooden fence, because it's the school is supposed to keep people out. They're supposed to go through. Um, Even on a vacation, they go through the gate, and it's part of the experience or whatever. But so it's like it goes like from closer up to the screen. It goes down to the right side of the screen. Then it goes across the screen, and that's like in the distance, right? Behind. And so when John approaches, he's either approaching from the front or he's approaching from the left side of the screen. That's all I'm saying. And so I gotta go. Okay, so we have souvenir stands. So souvenir stands are going to be kind of around the entrance, sort of. I might be able to draw it just dead on, which is not quite as interesting as what I was envisioning. Maybe there's a screen over here. Maybe what I was envisioning is over here, and there's a screen over here. I should actually. I was gonna do concepting. I have this thought in my mind about how it's supposed to look right now, just from talking about it. That's kind of interesting. I know I should be typing stuff out, but in my mind, I'm actually picturing the kind of the way I want it to look, and so I'm kind of going, yeah, I could just do it. So it'd be a gate that comes. If it were on your screen, whether it's on your screen or not, I'm not sure, but if it's on your screen, um, it would go the left. It would curve around. It would go across the screen and then up the right side, and then your gate would be right there, and then your two guards are in front of the gate, which is locked, and then um, yeah, I mean, I do it. But then, okay, like I said, there's gonna be like souvenir stands, there's gonna be popcorn stands, there's gonna be hats, there's gonna be all kinds of stuff like what you find in the theme park, and so there's gonna be like these souvenir stands, and one of them is gonna be like the build a badge stand, and that's where you build your fake badge. But as I was discussing with, I think I was discussing with ChatGPT, but the build a badge is just a single stand, and so you're basically building a badge as a souvenir. You have your nameplate with your name. You have your shield shape, which is a button, and then you have these stickers that you can put on it that are different emblems, like you'd find on a coat of arms. So you have this mini coat of arms, and it's almost a badge, but then there's something that sets it apart from an actual official badge, you know. And the guard should be able to spot it really easy. So anyone guarding a tent should be able to tell that you don't have an official badge. But there will be something like a special emblem or something. If it's going to be a special emblem, if it's like the school emblem, like the night school emblem, you're gonna have to fashion the emblem somehow that's not a sticker, because just putting a sticker on means anybody could get in, and that's kind of you just if you're thinking from a logical point, you know. Um, I realize it's fantasy comedy adventure. I don't have to have a logic, but really, you still need an internal logic. So, you know, I might do goofy stuff, but this would still be still be logic. You want to keep people out. You don't want anybody just going in. Okay, so this is um you could say maybe you let anybody in because it's a resort, but let's just say this resort is specific, right? You have to sign up for it. You have to sign up for you want to be a knight for a day, right? You want to rescue a damsel in distress or a damsel from a tower or something. Um, and you have to go through this preliminary training, and you're working with enchanted weapons so nobody gets hurt, and because it's a resort, it's a fun place to be, right? It's fun. You fulfill your fantasy of being a knight for a day. You go in, you learn some stuff, but what you have to do is you have to enroll essentially. Um, and under normal circumstances, it's just the guards that keep people out of the night school, right? Because you can go in and you can, I guess, um, I guess enrollment would be like there's an enrollment tent, right? So I guess what you do is you sign up for something. You know, now I haven't been into Disney World in many many years now, just because of all the woke crap that's been going on, and then just as when the woke stuff is going on, um, my dad's site is a little, and he can't really be away from the house for too long. Um, just there's some medical issues. I don't want to get into it. I'm just trying to give you an idea so that the reason that we don't go anymore. Um, but they would have these well, actually, it's a Disneyland, and that was years before. I haven't been to Disneyland since 2011, so it's quite some time now. But they have this Legends of the Magic Kingdom or something, where you would be provided with a map, and you go in this card and you answer Disney trivia questions, and it's supposed to be like scavenger hunt, and maybe at the end you get like a button or something. I don't really know because I never actually signed up for it. I always felt like that was kind of a dumb thing. I pay for going on rides and stuff, and then you have this thing where it's this self guided tour, which I could do a self guided tour if I wanted to, answering trivia questions at various locations. And to me, that was dumb. But then, of course, I was already grown up, so maybe if I was a kid and doing that, I'd be having fun. But it's sort of anyways, it's this sort of thing. So if you're doing it, you go to a like a tent, or you go to a like a kiosk or something to sign up, and you sign up, and then they give you your items, and then you go on do this little scavenger hunt thing or whatever, and it's like geocaching or something. But uh, so with the resort, basically, you want to be a knight for a day, so you go to night school and you have to enroll in night school, and then it gives you a couple hour course of how to use everything, how to do everything, and what to do, and they send you out on mission, to rescue damsel from a tower, or a damsel in distress or something from a dragon, something, and so pretty much anybody can go in and out. So you can go in and out, and then you can go into the tents and um, getting past the guards. Are there guards in the actual resort before stuff started happening? Maybe, and maybe they just let you in. I don't know, but the idea here is since Max has taken over all the schools and basically closed everything down except for night school still running. um, now they require a badge, right? You didn't require a badge for tourists before, but you require one now because he's the bad guy and what he's doing. So, I don't even know why I went off on that tangent, but I was just trying to explain why you're having to build a badge and that you can't go in and out and stuff just willy nilly. Anywho, get the nice to pass out. I need to get back on track. I'm sorry. I apologize. We'll get back on track here. Let's get into it. So how am I gonna get the night to pass out? Okay. So this is I suddenly remember what my point was. Okay, so I'm thinking about where everything is. That's why I need to map. But so I'm going. Okay, so where are the souvenir stands? Where are the various stands? Where's the build a badge stand? Um, one thing might have hats. You might have um, there's some of the stuff at the resort is still there. Like the idea maybe um that the resort itself isn't technically closed down. Just people started coming up missing, and they closed the schools down, and so you almost and most of the hotels are done. The most of the restaurants are closed. In fact, the only one that's open is Scarborough Fruit Chicken, and um, you know what? I had what I oh that's right, Enchanted Castle burgers. Think White Castle, think the theme thing. Yeah, there's the thing that I saw the other day, something called White Tower hamburgers, and I guess they copied White Castle like exactly, and eventually, of course, I don't know if they got sued maybe or something, but eventually they went out of business. But so the idea, I had already written down Enchanted Castle burgers, which would be like a White Castle, but it would also be closed because, like I said, the only one that's open is a Scarborough Fair Chicken, and then the only hotel that's open is the Grand Enchanted Lanyon, but it's not actually accepting people. It's just kind of giving you like pretending to be open, so you can really only go into the lobby. You can't wander much else anywhere. You do actually get in there. You get through the kitchen, and there's a few things. Um, but anyways, what was I getting to? Anyway, some of the stuff is closed, but strictly speaking, the Enchanted Lands Resort is not closed, right? There'll still be a scant few tourists that want to come in, even though you can't pretty much do anything, just because it's interesting. We do have one hotel that's open, and that's the Count's Bats and Belfry Motel, um, who almost nobody wants to go in because it's too scary for them. And of course, the Count is he's actually a good guy. He's actually Hubert's friend, one of his best friends, which he's going to be integral later. And in fact, we're going to use the Bats and the Belfry hotel as sort of a base of operations. Originally, Scarborough Fried Chicken was going to be the base of operations, but because I had to add some things in there, and I was tweaking some of the character arcs, I suddenly was like, okay, now you have to run away from, and and uh, um, and then this also led me to be able to reintroduce the Count. I mean, I already had him in there as a character and stuff, but um, somehow I was able to link and do it, and so then I moved it from Scarborough Fair Chicken to the his hotel, and I guess it's kind of cool because it's sort of like what would happen in real life, right? I mean, not that it's real life at all; it's fantasy, but it's a logical thing that's something that forced them to change bases of operations to someplace else, and anyways, so yeah, and now I only have about 15 minutes, and I need to get on. I need to do something here. Okay, so I'm trying to think of where it's going to be. Okay, we'll say that there's a beverage cart. Um, Okay, so let me look at the previous. Uh, okay, so at this point, the um, the path is going after the drunk knight, right? Because in here, a knight sort of stumbles about, apparently having had too much to drink, right? And then the souvenir stands, which you build a badge. Okay, so if you want John to take the drunk knight's armor with badge, that's gonna have him take the whole armor. Um, Armor might help him be in disguise, but if he builds a badge, then it's just gonna be like touristy, whatever. So I'm not sure if if he's gonna take his armor or not. Maybe he won't take his armor. Maybe he'll just take his badge. Because otherwise I have to kind of consider, well, okay, so he's being sneaky and asking questions, um, and I don't know, maybe I can develop it into something later. Maybe he does take the armor, and so he's not found out as quick as he would be otherwise. It doesn't get found out though, so that doesn't really matter that much. Anyways, if you want him to take the drunk knights, we'll just say badge. We won't say armor with badge. Uh, hit 1 and hit 2 if you want to find a way to construct a fake badge. Okay, so then you're taking the drunk knight path already. Looking at the drunk knight, John figures he might be able to easily get his badge. Then he talks to the drunk knight. When the drunk knight refuses to give him his badge, John seeks another way. If John could get him even drunker, then maybe he would pass out. And if he can take the badge, and he can take the badge. Another way is to simply knock him out, considering that he's almost there. A blow to the helmet could make him sleep for hours. Oh yeah, right. Because there's two ways of doing it, right? So you got to make him pass out. So if you wish to find a way to get him drunk, he'll pass out. Um, hit 1, hit 2 if you want John to find something he can use to knock him out. And that's what we're doing. So we're doing the drunk way. We're gonna say there's a beverage cart that sells you know, ale, mead, wine, that sort of thing. Um, Looking about at the stands and carts, he notices a beverage cart. Um, uh, you know, I'm not gonna branch this out, so I'm just gonna have him do something specific. Uh, he's not gonna steal from the beverage cart, okay? Uh, John walks up to the attendant at the beverage and asks him for a a flagon, a flagon. The pellet with the poisons and the vessel with the pestle. The um, dang, I just watched the court jester, and there's that scene where they're doing the kind of the tongue twister about where they put the poison pellet. Um, yeah, the pellet with the poisons and the vessel with the pestle. Uh, the flagon with the dragon has the brew that is true. The flagon with the dragon is after. Uh, I can't remember. You know, it would have been funny if I could have come up with it and said, "Oh yeah," but I what that? There we go. Pestle, pestle. Yeah, it's the famous line. Um, the child, yeah, the chalice from the palace has the brew that is true. and then at some point they switch it, and then they say, no, now that pilot with the poison is the flagon with the dragon, and the vessel with the pestle has the brew that is true, you know, and they get it all switched up. It just made me think about that for a second. The flagon. Hey, you know what? That's now a pestle, mortar and pestle is usually that little like stirrer, hammer, whatever you want to call it, thing with the did I close that? Yes, I closed that. New window. Oh, sorry about that. Um, what is a pestle? I mean, I know what it is, but I want the club-shaped handheld tool for grinding and mashing substances in a mortar. A large bar moved vertically to stomp or pound as an impressor mill. Um, is, let's see, a pestle only for a mortar, or can it be put into anything? Or can it be used for anything? Be used for anything else? Also be used for other tasks outside traditional mortar and pestle set, typically to crush, grind, and pound ingredients from mortar, but it can be also be used independently. For example, it can be used to crush herbs, garlic, or spices directly on a cutting board or in a bowl, although this is less common and may not be as effective with a mortar. Uh, Additionally, some people use pestle to mix ingredients in a bowl or to crush iced cocktails. This is not primary function. Can be even used as a tool for other non-culinary tasks, such as breaking open nuts or crushing small objects, but these are not typical and may vary. Okay, it's just I think the vessel with the pestle uh, is not necessarily a cup. I mean, it probably is a cup, but you know. Anyways, it just okay. So it just occurred to me. Shoot, it's almost 12:35. I gotta write something down quick. I gotta get done quick. Ask him for a here. Actually, let's do something here. Yeah, I know. I'm running out of time now. Uh, recover. Not recovered yet. I don't remember it crashing. Did it crash? Huh. Start, I guess. Finish. Okay. Hopefully, 238. Um, okay. I probably put some notes in there, and I guess I lost them now. I don't know what I was working on yesterday. Maybe I could pull up yesterday's stream or something and look for it. Okay, so I don't remember it crashing though, so that's weird. Um, the beverage cart in front of night school will have uh, ale, mead, wine, etc. But you can get it in either vessel with a pestle. I just thought this would be great little homage, little thing here. Uh, ch chalice from the palace, a uh, or a flagon with a dragon. Uh, okay, so yeah, I think I wrote something in it. I don't remember. I'll have to look up maybe yesterday's stream here. Okay, so let's go back here for a flagon a dragon of Isle? No, wine. Okay. When the attendant asks him for money, he just says to put it over on, and as he glances over at the drunk knight, says off the top of his head, Sir drinks a lot. Sir drinks a lot. Tab. Put over on Sir drinks a lot tab. The attendant well, okay. I don't know if I want to put this in here because it's a detail that doesn't need to be in here, but states Sir drinks a lot, is his best customer, and gladly gives him the wine. John takes the wine over to Sir Drinks a Lot, and he gladly takes a few gulps before keeling over. While he's asleep, he grabs Sir Drinks a Lot's badge. And Sir Drinks a Lot is what I call him. And so the idea here is, even though I shouldn't have put it in here because it's details, it's just something I didn't want to forget. I didn't forget what his name was, but the idea is that John, off the top of his head, just calls him Sir Drinks a Lot as a joke. And it just so happens that's his name. His name is Sir Drinks a Lot. So, anyways, Sir Drinks a Lot's badge, and he hit one to investigate. Nice, cool. Okay. We're essentially just we're gonna save the editor scene here, which doesn't really do much, but it stops it from squawking. And then I'll just go ahead and save room data. And now it's saved in there, and now it's about time for me to be done. I don't know if I can do this in like a minute. I have exactly, we'll say I have a minute and a half here. Oh, fine. I'm gonna try to be quick, super quick. Define halberd because this is what the guards were using. This long pole weapon with an axe blade, right? Top of the spike. And that's what they're actually four-part of a horseshoe designed to relieve the foot in cases of lameness. Interesting. Halberd. Now he's already able to go into the gates, so that means generally the guards have dropped their weapons because they can no longer heave them up because their armor is not connected anymore. But noticing the halberds laying down from the gate guards, John heaves one up and drags it over to Sir Drinks a Lot, and since it's too heavy to pick up. Let's see. John grabs the halberd by the handle and starts to drag it because it's too heavy to pick up. Then drags it over to Sir Drinks a lot, and instead and pushes it over to where the handle falls onto Sir Drinks a lot's head, thereby knocking him out. John grabs his badge now that he's been knocked out. Okay, good. Good. So now, let's make sure that took been knocked out. Okay. Oh, yes. See, I do the Control S. Control S doesn't work here in the little extra window here. In fact, I probably have one in here too. I'd imagine. No, maybe not. Okay. Okay, so let's save room data here. Okay, good. Now I actually, at least I got that part done, even though I didn't get the rest of the, I didn't get the build a badge side done. I guess we'll do that tomorrow, and I guess we can say I'll be able to finish that up tomorrow. At least I know pretty sure that it's not going to take the whole 45 minutes, and especially if I don't spend time like rambling like I did today. Anyways, I got to take my little tiny break. It's now shortened down to 3 minutes, which is okay. I'm just going to do that just to kind of keep the correct time. And I'm just going to not unbreak. Be right back. Okay, I'm going to leave I guess I'll leave the mic on. I still have coffee, so I don't need to go in the other room to do that. I'm going to do a couple of squats. I'm not really doing squats because I'm expecting that I'm not like exercising per se. I am though, but more or less to kind of stretch out my legs and to I guess get my heart rate up. Although 2 or 3 squats or whatever, it's not going to get my heart rate up, but just enough to kind of shake the cobwebs out and make sure I'm not like sedentary. So that's what I'm doing. Oh, that's me making my noises when I squat. Anyways, okay, I got 2 minutes. Oh, that's right. Really, I guess I shouldn't be looking at my phone either, huh? See something here. That. Figure that out. Okay, shoot, just 5 squats just almost puts me out of breath and makes my legs weak and everything. Way out of shape. You don't know how much out of shape I am. Oh, you know what? I'm wearing the wrong shirt. Oh well. Okay. I guess straighten out my room a little bit for a minute isn't gonna hurt anything. And the point of this is, like I said, 40 to 45 minutes. It's supposed to be kind of almost, at least with school students. I don't know about other people like grown adults or somebody that hasn't been in school in a long time. I don't know how it is for them, but supposedly the ideal amount of time is in between 40 and 45 minutes, where you don't learn much anymore, and that you need a break after that. So that's what I was doing, and it looks like it's exactly 12:40 now, and I gotta come back, and um, we are going to switch this out. Give me a sec. I'll switch the OBS scene here in just a second. Four people in here, respectable. It'd be nice to have that full 7 in here, but 4 is all right, I guess. You know what? Today during the break, I might try playing an old stream, or I wonder. Playing through an old stream, it'll only be 30 minutes of it though. It won't be like a full stream. But maybe I could do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and quit the project list. Just give me a second, pull up the layout tool. You can actually see it working here in the background because I made the made this translucent so you can actually see the desktop even while I'm gone, or while I'm on break. Okay, switch back. Okay. So, basic deal, add line. It'll add a line. Then it cues the redraw whenever you add the line. Oh, I have to do the thing again, unfortunately. Well, maybe I won't. Wait. I could do this here. I can do this here. Open that new tab. Let's go into Redot projects. Let's go into Channel Lands Phase 1. We're gonna go into scripts. We're gonna go into I guess editor map, and I'm gonna open with the text other application text editor. Okay. All right, so let me find where. Here, let's expand that out. Let's find where I use set line. So set line, is it in there? No results found. Set line's not in there. Why is set line not in there? I guess it must be in a room. Let's go into editor room. Be editor room. We'll find set line. That's right, because it's in an update. Okay, line.set line. And this is wherever I call update. Actually, where is set line? Set line. I don't have I do have a process in here, don't I? Because it's a tool script. That means the editor runs it every so often. So update door lines. So essentially, oh, that's interesting. So set line actually changes the line. It actually sets new things, and so okay. All right, let's see here. And today, right now, I'll be working toward oh, right to my break, right? 125, 125. Okay, just gotta keep that in mind. I'm going to pull up, I think I was using ChatGPT, so I'm going to pull up ChatGPT. Pull up ChatGPT. Then, GD script help, there we go. And, okay. So set line, change the line each time. It doesn't process. Okay, so I'm back. It's Thursday, July 24th, 2025 at approximately 12:45 EDP. Okay. Before I do that, there's something that just came up. I realized that in the process function of my editor room, because it was a tool script, and actually, I'll probably still keep process even though it's not a tool script, because it will it will still need to because I'll still need to use it even in the layout tool proper. So whenever I updated the rooms or moved them around, let's see here. Line, set line, okay. Process. Get viewport transform, current zoom level minus last zoom level is greater than or equals to 0.01. Last zoom level equals current zoom level, line thickness equals 2.0 divided by current zoom level, update door lines. Okay. Okay, I actually called process. Wait a second, did I actually process? If you zoomed in a little bit, it changes the door thickness. It only updates it. I guess it only updates. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. Hmm. Oh. Let's open recent. Let's go to recents. Let's open editor map again. Let's go to update our lines. Okay, that's in the save data. Okay. Update lines for room and dependents. Huh. For all the rooms that have this room as a destination, inbound lines. Okay, the process, right? Okay. So this, okay, if room is edit room. Oh, so if the position ever changed, it would update the lines. Okay, so whenever I, not updated, whenever I move the rooms around, actually, okay, we're gonna go back here. I realized that in the process function of the editor map code, it would update the lines for any room that was moved. and all it does is set a new line coordinates and redraws. This case will have a number of lines. This case will have a number of lines. So I need to think about, I have a number of lines, and the function adds lines to the array. So I need some ideas on how I should do this. I could have it, it clear out the dictionary every time, the array every time. Actually, go through. Could have it clear out the array every time before setting new lines. Or is there some other way to handle this? There we go. Based on simple single line per connection model with the system that allows multiple line segments per connection. Well, no, it's going to be multiple lines on one node, so recent update. Okay. Okay, so there's something else. Oh. Well, here's the thing. There's not multiple line segments other than the lines themselves technically being segments, as a line can be infinite. But there are multiple lines on a single node. It will have all the lines that are being displayed added to the array. We don't want to just add more lines whenever it changes. They'll need to be modified and or recreated. They'll need to be modified and or recreated. So you're essentially using a single node to manage and draw multiple lines between rooms. These lines are stored as an array of dictionaries. Each one connects 2 points, likely room centers, right? Yes. Due to dragging or whatever, how do you update the lines efficiently without just blindly adding new ones and duplicating everything? Clear and rebuild. Each time the map is updated, like dragging the rooms, you clear the lines array and rebuild it from scratch based on the current room positions. it's clean and avoids bugs due to stale data, and the cost maybe little performance. Yeah, there'll be some performance hits because there's going to be several lines, especially as many rooms as there are right now. So I'll have to consider that. And nobody's chatting in the chat, so that's fine. And nobody's really chatting in IRC, at least not to me in particular, which is fun. Fun. It's not fun. Fine, which is fine. Mm. Um, huh. Looks like maybe Hulk Hogan just died, which is kind of strange to me, but anyways, okay, so what am I doing here? What am I doing? What am I doing? Every time the map is updated, like after dragging rooms, you clear the lines array and rebuild it from scratch based on the current room positions, clean always bugs. I can do that. Easy to reason about. Yeah. And I'm just gonna be a I have an add line function, so you're gonna go through each of the rooms that is already in there's already a room list, a room dictionary. So you're gonna go through each of those and you're gonna create connections to each room. So, anyways, center of the room to the center of the destination room, assuming that it's in there, and slightly inefficient. Not a big deal unless you have hundreds, and I will have hundreds. So, update in place. Efficient requires IDs. Instead of rebuilding all lines, update only the ones that changed. There's a unique ID or reference for each line connection, maybe based on which rooms they connect. Well, you only need the destination room, so the doors. So each room that has doors will have lines associated with them. Matching the keys. Be a dictionary. Auto recalculate and draw lazy and smart. Instead of storing start and input points in the lines array, store references to the rooms or their IDs. Then in the draw, calculate the actual start and end positions based on room positions at draw time. Uh, do that. So, but I'll think about that for a second. That's not a hard thing to do, but you have color. The thing you have start and end, and then you have your width. Actually, the line width can be the same on all the lines though, and that's all always based on zoom level. So I can do the zoom calculation thing, and I can use a single value for the thickness, and then I can change the thicknesses of all the lines at the same time. Width is probably fine. In other words, width doesn't have to be stored in an array. It can be stored in a single variable, which is good. Color's a little bit different. Okay. In fact, the way I had it before is I actually had the door lines stored in the door class, and actually what I did was I moved it to a visual room class. In other words, the boxes that you see in the lines and stuff are visual nodes. So I actually have had the color stored in the visual class, and like for instance, you have layout room. Well, layout room will have a color, but actually that's a good thing. Let's see if it's in there. Um, layout. Let's go to layout room. Layout room should still have color. And line thickness. Oh, line thickness here is also stored in a well. It's stored in the line. It doesn't have to be stored per room though. The line thickness can actually be some sort of static thing where you call it. Okay, and that's fine. That's not even a big deal. What about color? Actually, it's stored in the doors, isn't it? It's stored in the doors. Uh, I don't have color in here. Why? Because we don't have any drawing right now. Anything drawing. Um, layout door. Oh, the door has a color though. Okay. Layout door. Uh, that's interesting. Layout room does not contain a room either, does it? No, room data is room. So how come door data isn't door? Because it doesn't need access to any of the door data, right? The destination. Huh, interesting. I didn't realize that's how I did it. So layout door does not contain an instance of a regular door because it's not going to need it. It doesn't need destination and stuff. Layout room, however, oh, because layout room has to load up get property, set property, get set, create, room dot room data equals room dot create. Create from JSON. New room dot room data equals create from JSON. Okay. And then doors are actually created in here, isn't it? Door two. Okay. For door in new room data dot doors. So it's created the doors there, and then here is door, and then how does the color fit in? New room setup visuals does that, doesn't it? Setup visuals actually. I wonder if I can find door not color not layout door new door layout door create door name color. Add child. Layout door. Door name, color. New door equals layout door dot new. Okay, so it just creates the node directly. It sets the color, and it doesn't have any room data. It doesn't access room data, so I don't have room data in here. Okay. 20 minutes. What was my problem again? There was a reason I wanted to. Let's see here. Welcome, Rook. Okay, so anyways, you create a layout door. Okay, I see. This is okay. So this is the way I did it. This is the reason I did it this way. Okay. So a room already contains regular door nodes. Not I don't mean layout door nodes. I just mean actual destination choice, your choice string in your name, and so a layout room or an editor room contains a room instance with its own doors, and then we create when we create the new layout room. Afterwards, we create the doors. We create the layout doors with the new color and the name, which is actually which is going to be a node added to. Um, it's a node actually added to the visual room node, the actual node that's in editor map, that's in layout tool. That's how I did it. So a layout door doesn't have any door instance stuff because that's the room's purview. It's nothing to do with the layout. And the only reason I needed that was I wanted a separate color for each of the doors. So it creates the layout door creates and its color is set. Hmm. And then it also that's okay. So that's kind of interesting. Um, let's go back in here. Let's check something out here. Layout door create. Okay, create from JSON. Door specs, all that stuff. Setup visuals. Okay, I get it. Um, so let's go back to the text here and update door lines. Okay, so okay, we're in the room here. Update door lines. Okay, here we go. Clear. Let's see what else we got here. Lines container equals node 2D to new. Add child. And this is actually where set line is, down here towards the bottom, I think. Okay, so we created a new line. We set line. We do the positions. Edoors dot door ID. Edoors is an array. What is edoors? Edoors equals is an array. Get door data array. Okay. So the room is create from JSON. It creates an actual JSON. Door name equals door dot destination. Okay, destination. New door equals editor door. Create door name and color. The color we decided here. New door, new room dot edoors dot door dot id. What is door? Okay, so door is the actual door ID from the room data itself. So there's a room here. Okay, so the editor or layout room has this thing called room data, which is the room class. A room class has its own door instances. So it iterates through the actual doors, the actual door instances. Um, Use that ID as an entry into the eDoors array. Okay, so I have an array of doors, right? Editor doors, or in this case, layout doors, right? L doors, E doors, whatever. So there's a number of doors that has a name and a color, and an array, and the array entry is the, and that's not a dictionary, right? That's an array. It's using an array subscript. It's just using this as the index, right? Because you can use, I guess you can use anything as an index if I'm right in GD script, I think. Okay, now we have three watching. Yeah, well, understandably, I'm boring, I guess. Pardon me, my voice is going out just because I'm talking too much. I talk too much. I Okay, so any of you that is actually gets annoyed by me talking too much, if you go to other live streams, now not gamer live streams, they talk and they hoot and holler and you know trash talk and whatever. So that doesn't happen. But if you go to anybody that's doing game dev or art or whatever, more than likely they're not doing a lot of talking. Why? Because it kind of stops them from doing their work, sort of. And then when you're kind of in the zone, when you're in the flow state or whatever, you just kind of tend not to talk. You notice how sometimes I trail off and I kind of stop talking when I'm actually busy, like typing stuff out or whatever. So most streamers that are doing game dev or doing some sort of a project, some sort of creative endeavor, on a live stream, don't usually speak that much, and I'm kind of different. I tend to talk a little too much, I think. But I figure, hey, at least it's not boring, right? I mean, if you don't have pictures, at least you have somebody that talks too much, right? Anyways, okay, so I basically have to keep going through this code and kind of going, well, how did I use this? How does it work? Because that's kind of like my biggest problem with programming in general. I'm not good at programming at all, and it just sometimes I don't remember from program to program or from day to day what I coded the other day. Whereas a good programmer is probably can keep track of what he or she's done already, or you know there's a sort of thing. I think anybody that's a coder pretty much can out program me, you know, program rings around me, or whatever you want to say. So I have to go back and I have to say, how did I do this? What did I do? What does it do? Oh yeah, that's what it did. That's what I did, and that's what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm just trying to think of what exactly do I need to store and where do I need to store it, because This is going to be a single node 2D, um, and I always change the values of the line. Now it's going to be changed the values of many lines. Well, I mean, it still does. When I update, it goes through each line and then it updates it. So I'd have to do the same thing here. Okay, so it suggested not storing, sorry, to start and end positions, but storing the doors. I could actually have it store source and destination doors. I could actually have it do that. Yes, kind of interesting. I can actually have it store it as e-doors. Well, actually, I could see. It's the other way. Um, where would I put this? If I put this, coding difficulty is not too different for everyone, in my opinion. Good documentation makes a difference. For lots of time in the code base. Yeah, that's true. I guess. I just know that somebody asked me to program something, I couldn't just do it off the top of my head. I'd have to go search through bunches of documents. I'd have to do a lot of copying, so on and so forth. I mean, I can do all the basic stuff. Basic stuff is basic stuff. But other than that, and even now, I have to do because I was trained on C style arrays. Um, I always have to look up uh, how to um, what word am I looking for? How to declare arrays or define arrays. So I don't know. I just know it's for me. It's like walking through mud basically. I have to program for the most part. Okay, so I'm thinking for a moment. I'm thinking, what do I have to store? And where do I have to store it? If I don't start in end positions, I'm still storing something. Um, then it's tied to the rooms directly too, for that matter. It's not a generic like class I can use for other things. Let's see here. I guess it's just kind of a matter of what you prefer. I need to manually update coordinates. Always correct. Cons more coupling. This code needs access to the room nodes. Could break it if rooms get deleted without cleaning the array. Since you're still prototyping, not focus on performance, start with option one. Always optimize later. Avoid appending lines unless they're truly new. Either replace or refresh. And put spaghetti salad. Yeah, yeah, I know that. I know. Yeah. I mean, I'm appending to the array. That's the name of the function is append. Yeah, when you're adding to an array. Learn, rebuild, reuse, and update. Smarter but trickier. Update each one based on new positions. Recounting logic. Uh, okay, not multiple line segments. Okay, I got it. Update and place efficient. Requires IDs. Need to track IDs and changes. Update the ones that change. Requires unique ID or reference. um, let me think. I know that's all I'm doing, right? Is thinking. Um, which makes it for reuse. Based on IDs. Based on IDs. Option 2. Requires a unique ID or reference for each line. Let me think for a moment. Start room, end room. Start coordinates, end coordinates. Start position equals line dot start room dot get center. End position equals line dot end room dot get center. Draw a line, start and end position. Color white 2.0. Oh, not sure here. And then the other thing about color. The color I had it got to from Dora before, but maybe it's gonna add lines based on how many doors or how many rooms there are. So each time I get a new room with a new door that points somewhere, I'm gonna be appending. Yeah, I mean clearing and redoing is simpler. I'm just thinking of whether or not start and end position color. Layout Go already has color, doesn't it? See, before it was linked to the actual specific room, right? So add it on there. This it can't be because the node 2D isn't going to be added to a room. It's going to be added to the scene basically. So it's going to be on top of or drawing behind the actual rooms themselves. Um, mm, I'm thinking. What am I thinking? It'd be a dictionary of dictionaries, wouldn't it be? Um, Shoot, it's already 125. Arrays. Do arrays in DD script have a different key value pair. What's the difference between an array and a dictionary DD script? Arrays and dictionaries, both container types, are used ordered by position starting from 0. Access using index numbers. Okay, so it's still number based, isn't it? Okay, it's number based. Okay. I guess I could save an additional ID in it, and that way that's a thought. Room ID. I could store room ID in the line dictionary. Okay. Okay, well, I have a number of arrays in here, don't I? eDoors is an array, isn't it? Or is it? Oh, eDoors is a dictionary. Door data is an array. Okay. I get it. And you can access it like an array, right? Okay, okay. This is making sense now. I was thinking of how I want to store the lines. I could make a dictionary and use the room ID as a key. if I do an array, go even deeper lines. And store style metadata or per room line too. Oh yeah, actually store style metadata or hover highlight effects per room line too. Yeah, if I wanted to do that. Oh, it doesn't have to be separate though. Line does not have to be a separate dictionary. Wait a second. I thought curly brackets dictionary. No? Okay. Line. So wouldn't line be its own key? Yeehaw, you're absolutely right to raise that point, partner. If you're storing multiple pieces of info per room, yeah, each room might each map. Okay. It doesn't have to be lines by room. Well, what I mean is, I'll set up a room array, a room dictionary, where the key is the ID, and then I'll store the actual room data in those keys. I'll set up a room array, a room dictionary, where the go with a single dictionary for each line, and an ID property in the dictionary. Not an ID property, where the index, where the key is the room ID it's linked to. Anyways, I need to go. All right. So I guess I'll go on my break. And I'm going to go on break for about 30 minutes. It'll be less than 30 minutes so I can get back at 2 o'clock. And I'll probably see you then. And then we'll see if we can do anything about drawing. Probably not, but we'll try it. We got 2 more days. We got today and tomorrow. And if it doesn't work, then I'll just kind of revert back to my old way. Mike. Okay, back. Sorry for taking so long. I okay. Um, so I spend. Dad's mostly stuck here at home. I mean, we can go out, we go grocery shopping and stuff like that, but some of the middle school stuff. So most of the time we stay at home, and most of the time we're like watching YouTube. We watch news sometimes. We watch old shows. Now I'm mostly watching super old shows like black and white shows. I like the show called Death Valley Days, which is from the started. Let's see, are we in the '60s? It started in the '50s, went into the '60s. Actually had 18 seasons, but it's an anthology show about uh, uh, interesting stories that happened around Death Valley, California, and then later on, they expanded just including like old west stuff and whatever. But it's a show I like watching, and so sometimes we watch that. I usually watch that in the morning though, not on my break, and so I'm mostly spending time with my dad on during my break, right? In fact, it's just me and him in the house here, and so he has pretty much nothing to do. He doesn't have nothing to do. He's got stuff that he can be doing and stuff, but he's like by himself most of the time, and so it's kind of boring when there's nobody in there, and he what's he gonna do? He's gonna go watch videos himself or something, which he usually does. So sometimes I stay a little bit longer than normal when we're watching some news or whatever. We just heard about Hulk Hogan's death, and um, I was watching the quartering, listening to the quartering talk about it a little bit. So that's why this is why it took so long. So apologies for taking so long. I'll try not to do that as much in the future. But and anyways, oh yeah, and of course, this next week, starting like starting next week, I should say, I won't be on Monday through Friday. I won't be on next week, basically, streaming. I decided I was going to take off, partly because there is a ton of stuff around the house. There's a lot of lawn stuff I got to do, and right now it's I kind of neglect because I don't have that much time in the morning. It's kind of weird because you have like a short um, time period in the day because I'm in Central Florida and so it gets hot like in the 90s, especially here in the summer. Of course, winters are pretty temperate and pretty nice, but summers are really hot and then it rains a lot. So I have this like short window that goes from the morning up until about approximately 11 o'clock, and I even do some mowing even after 11 o'clock, but it gets up into the 90s, which is I guess the 90s would be about around 31 Celsius, I think. So if you're in Europe or something, that's pretty hot. I think that's right. You can look that up. 90 FNC. Um, so 32, right? So it's up within a few degrees. So you're thinking anywhere from 30. Um, see now if I go down, if I say 31 is 88 and 30 is 86, right? So roughly 2 degrees for every Celsius degree, and then of course it's about 50 degrees off. You know, so you could add 50 degrees um, onto um, yeah, add about 50 degrees onto um, or 50 I don't know 50 something degrees onto your Celsius temperature, and you get Fahrenheit. So anyways, so actually, so 25 would be about what, 80? 25 would be about 77. Okay, so anyways, it doesn't correspond directly, but um, anyways, okay, so I got this like really narrow window in the morning where it gets really really hot. So after about 86 degrees or about 30 degrees Celsius, is about the time to stop. I can sometimes push in a couple more degrees, but uh, in general, it's about that. So I have this short period of time now. I could do it early in the day where it's just barely light, but the only problem is the grass is all wet from dew, and so because it's all wet and humid, then I can't really mow when it's on wet grass. So I have this really short window, about one. I can maybe max out to 2 hours sometimes. It's around 9 to 11, somewhere in between there. And so um, I've been kind of busy, and so if we want to do anything like grocery shopping or anything, if I want to get to streaming at a certain time, I have to come in. I have to do that stuff early, and then sometimes I can't even get to the yard or cleaning or whatever. And so I just decided, since Dad has an appointment on Monday, and I most likely won't be streaming Monday, I decided I'll take the whole week off, and then I'll come back and I'll do another 2 weeks, approximately 10 days. Not including the weekends. I'll do another 2 weeks, and then I'll take another week off, which is right around my birthday weekend, which is let's see, um, okay, so next week goes to August 1st, and then the 4th through the 8th. Let's see, August. So the 4th. So essentially the 3rd through the 16th, right? Saturday to Saturday. No, Sunday to Saturday. Uh, or you could say Saturday to Saturday. Saturday the 2nd to Saturday the 16th. Then yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I decided I'll take another week long break after there, and my birthday is on the 23rd, which is the end of that week, and then I'll return Monday, and then I'll be on like normal. Is how I'm gonna play it. Anyways, I guess I guess I should get to what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day here. I got about an hour. I guess I'm not gonna do two periods, one for the mapping and one for the sketching. I'm going to attempt to do map now, and we'll see. We'll see if I can get any kind of drawing done today. Probably not. I don't really know what to do about that too, other than the fact that it's not until like phase 5 where I start needing thumbnails, which means I can spend any free time that I have up until that date. And I don't know what the actual date's going to be, because this is going to take months just to do this first pass here, all the choices and stuff. It's just gonna, especially if I keep doing the stupid the periods, which doesn't seem to be working that well. Um, so yeah, okay. So here's the thing, right? I'm only about 15% in of the original pages, which means uh, if I can get one, if I can get okay, so let's do a what did I say? What I was on, what, 14, location 14 or something. Um, what was it? What was it actually though? Here let's do a little thing here. Let me go respond to Bomb. Yeah, Bomb. Sorry about taking so long. Suburban Commando, the game, huh? Uh, anyways, I remember the movie Suburban Commando. Um, Anywho, let me get back to my story here. Um, okay, so let's go back into. Let's go open this in a new tab. Do this one. Let's go to documents. Let's go into what's the log for? Oh, I see. That would be this. Control S. Okay. Beverage card in the high school have ale, mead, and wine, etc. You can get it either a vessel with a pestle, chalice from the palace, or a flagon with a dragon. And that's a little hint to the court gesture. Uh, just little jokes and stuff that I thought of. I'll have to like essentially like go through all my notes again and reread them all like completely, so I can remember what's what. Um, And let's just go ahead and close this for right now. Okay, so let's look at the list order. I should actually put this on my favorites, huh? Let's add it to favorites. So that way I go to favorites and I could go to list order like that quickly. Okay, so where was I? Night school entrance is where I'm at. So I'm on number 14. It's actually number 14. It's actually 15% of, yeah, it's about 15% because it's 93 instead of like a full 100. But um, so I'm on 14. Okay, so let's subtract 14 from 93. And actually, we can probably almost do it in our heads, but I'm lazy, so 93 minus 14 equals 79. Okay, so we'll say approximately 80 because I'm still working on the one here. Okay, so that's 80 pages. Now, if I got one done a day, and that means one page here, that doesn't mean one actual page that I filled out. I mean one that has all of the whatever choices it currently has. So I go from one to the other, right? So it's a nice little entrance. The other one, I already put in the thing of him knocking Sir Drinks-a-Lot out. Okay, so but the other side is the build badge one, which I might put another few pages in, but we'll count that. So we'll say I have 80 pages now. If I do one page a day, like one completed one completed thing where I'm connecting the story beats, right? So night school, and then I go from night school to Wizard U Hall. In other words, John John investigating night school and seeing what's going on there. Um, so if I yeah, I have 80 pages and I do one a day, that's 80 days, right? And I'm only working weekdays, so that's 5 days a week, so that's 2 weeks for 10 days. Um, and so 2 weeks for 10 days, 10 into 80 is 8. So that's going to be eight fortnights, you might say, eight 2 week periods, right? Um, so 8 2 week periods, or um, if you want to double that, months, 4 months. So if I got a page done every day, and doing this probably would take the whole 3 hours. Okay, if I did that, I will be done in 4 months with that part. Not the narrative pass. The narrative pass is afterwards, right? I still have to do that, and that might even take longer. I don't know. I mean, everything will be done, and like I won't have to think up. Well, how does he do this and how does he do that? But now I'll be having to do like full paragraphs. Actual story as it applies, so that you can read it like a story when it's all said and done. That's gonna probably take longer. That might even take twice as long. I might we'll say 100 pages, and we'll say that will be instead of 4 months, that's 5 months. Let's say five. Let's say it took me 5 months total, and I know it's taken longer than that, but let's say it takes 5 months total for me to get done with all these. We're not counting the 80. We're counting like the full complement. So 5 months, and um, now picture it taking twice as long because I have twice as much stuff to write. So 10 months is it going to take me 10 months? I hope it won't take me 10 months to do the narrative pass, but it could. I mean, I almost should count on it, even if it takes way shorter. You think, well, now that you got everything done, you don't have to think, puzzles. You don't have to think what they should do, what needs to happen. You got everything that's happening down now. Now all you just need to do is put it in a form that makes it readable. But at the very least, it would take another 5 months, and at the most, it'll take a whole 10 months, right? So we're talking about a year and a half here before I'm actually done with phase one, which is ridiculous and retarded probably, and I probably shouldn't be doing it this way, but this is the way I'm doing it. And again, I was bomb. I don't know if it will take 10 months. I'd hope it would be sooner. I hope I get into a system, a process that allow me just come up with some stuff like that, and then really wouldn't take me that long. But you know, at the very least, yeah, I got about 10 months of work here before I even get out of phase one. Okay, the other phases after that, they might be quicker, um, just because I'll have most of the story part of the game done, and and because each phase is kind of adding on to what I've already done, and it shouldn't take me that long. In other words, it shouldn't take me that long to take all the choices that I made, that I put into the thing, and divide up the directionals. In other words, go north, go south, go east, go west. Um, it shouldn't take me very long to go through each of the pages and do that, when it's warranted. So I'll do that, and then I got the other phases, blah blah blah, whatever. So okay, so there's two things. One is if I just go straight and I do that, um, that's super boring, right? I mean, once I gone through a few pages, which I've already gone through several pages, and you kind of know my process. Granted, some new people come in, and I don't have that many viewers, so they'll come in and they won't have seen my process yet, and I'll do a few streams, and then they'll see the process, and then it'll be done for them too. So, um, and the whole thing is I wanted to show you the whole process from start to finish, full behind the scenes, spoilers, everything, uh, by going through this. But at the same time, I'm kind of going, well, if you've seen one thing, you've seen all of it, right? And I don't mean everything, but you basically you've seen my process that I go through. Either using an AI where I ask them, well, can you come up with a few things, or I can kind of think of how to add stuff to here, and then it does, and then I go, oh yeah, I could do this, and then oh yeah, I remember this, and I put it together, and or I have to do it. I do it completely without AI, and I've done a little bit of that. I've mostly used a lot of AI. I haven't copied a lot from AI. I don't copy. I don't copy a lot of stuff directly. I really don't. I think the most direct thing that I copied was the names of the three dragons of three of Chester's friends, which will be NPCs in the final game. But the I don't really copy it. But you've seen how I do stuff, and how I whatever. I don't really brainstorm, but how I kind of come up with ideas, and just my thinking process and stuff. What would take long, you think? Coding the engine or drawing the graphics? For me, drawing will probably take longer than coding the engine. Um, and I'm not even a good programmer. It's just for me that it would take longer, because there's not much to coding this kind of game. I mean, yeah, if I have to do it from scratch, if I have to do pathfinding and obstacle avoidance and layering and whatever from scratch, that could take a little time. But even that is not it's not tough. There's tons of stuff online about navigating paths, and doing basically what you do in an adventure game. There's not really much to it. And even if I add the 3D element to it, I make all my rooms 3D environments. Um, Even that is it's still basically the 2D stuff. In other words, if you're doing a pathfinding, I'm not doing 3D pathfinding. I'm doing 2D pathfinding, because most of the time you're walking on ground, and if I have to climb, if the character has to climb up a hill, um, you just you just kind of do it. It's not like something that needs any kind of extra stuff. It's just like, oh, I gotta raise the sprite, or I gotta raise the 3D object up, and I'm still going across 2D ground, so I'm going from left to right, but there's an elevation here because there's a hill, so it's gotta lift it up, and then it's gotta lift it back down or something. You know, I'm just saying the coding of it is actually doesn't take that long, really, at least in comparison with the rest of the stuff. Drawing, doing animations, doing any of the artwork to me, it's still going to take a long time. This is taking a long time. This is just writing stupid text, you know. So it's like I've already had the engine, quote unquote engine, for several months now. It's just taking me time to actually start building this content. So, there you go, right? Anyways, I hope I could be quicker, but I haven't been quicker. I haven't been able to even do. Sometimes I think I can do 2 pages in a session, but even given the 3 hours, it's taken me hours just to get through one story beat, basically. So it's like taking forever. So uh, if that's the case, if the case is it's going to take me 10 months at a minimum for to get out of phase one and into phase two. Phase two might only take a few months because I don't really have that much difference to do. And then phase three takes a couple of months, and then you know the other phases they might not take as long, but at least I have all this time that I can be learning like drawing and stuff. So by the time I get there, at least I'll be able to do it. Of course, that doesn't make for a interesting live stream, does it? I mean, talk for ages. I can just spit out stuff basically. I can just talk and talk and talk, and that might only be interesting for a little while, right? And my voice might even be annoying to some people. Maybe it's too annoying. I don't know, but so I'm just I don't know. I'm kind of getting annoyed. Is all basically that it's taking this long. It's gonna be the same story. Phase two, all the phases are gonna be the same exact story, same exact everything. It's kind of on purpose. Um, it's on purpose because there was reasons that I broke it up this ways. I could go straight to the end. I could start working on the engine that puts sprites walking around a 3D environment, and I mean, I suppose, uh, I mean, it would be quicker. It would be quicker because it's a whole game that I'm making. It might still take me a couple of years for a total game. I kind of get that, but I don't know how to say this. Whenever I try to make something, sometimes it's hard for me to visualize stuff. So it's like, okay, well, how do I do this? What's the next thing I do? What do I put it on here? Do I, how do I start this? How does this work? My mind sometimes can't wrap around like all the different systems. You got a dialogue system, and you got obstacle avoidance, and you got the layering. So that if you're doing a straight up 2D adventure, you'll have layering so that a character can walk behind and walk in front and stuff. Like you'll have pathfinding, the collision. Um, you have object interaction. You got inventory. You got all the stuff that has to happen. It has to work, synergistically, right? Whereas an action game, even a 3D like a first-person shooter, I wouldn't necessarily say it's easier. It may, how should I say it? It's simpler in concept. Um, because you can knock out the systems in pretty early. It's just there's only so much that you do in a first person shooter. That doesn't mean you can't make it as complex as you want. What I mean is a shooter is a character walking in a 3D environment and targeting something in a 3D environment, and then shooting and it's collision and stuff. And it's even just an offshoot of 2D. In other words, you're adding the third dimension. Yeah, maybe it adds a few more things, a few more math things that you do and stuff. And with today's engines, you don't even need to do any of the math stuff that you used to have to do when you're building your own 3D engines and your own raster, raster graphics engine and stuff like that. Now it does a lot of the 3D stuff for you in a sense. You don't even have to do a lot of it. So I would say it'd be like more straightforward, right? Story-based game. Story-based game is easier in the sense that you don't need as much resources when you're doing it. you know, because you can draw a background, you can draw a sprite, and but a story-based game, there's a lot more to it, you know. Um, so in any case, this the phase system. The thing that I'm doing is so that I can wrap my head around each part, so that it's not overwhelming. So I don't go look at this thing and kind of go, well, how do I do this? I can't do this, and I look at it and or I start coding something and then I get stuck and then I can't do anymore because I get stuck and so I'm just gonna be forever stuck there. And so what I have to do, I usually shelve the project and then I don't really return to it. Doing it this way is, in concept, is simpler for my brain, I should say. Simpler for my brain. It takes a lot longer. But again, when I started this, I was like, I'm not going to worry about a deadline in this. Like, I should put deadlines on myself just so that I'm not just kind of, like, not making progress, right? So I can impose deadlines on myself, so to make sure I get things done in kind of a timely manner. But at the same time, I'm not focusing on saying, well, I'm going to make sure that this game is completely done and finished and released a year from now. I'm going to make sure that I do it to where I have to I have to sell the game. Like I have to sell multiple copies, right? Because you can't really tell when something's going to sell. There are a ton of games out there that just they didn't get any traction just because they didn't get any traction. It's just luck. You know, half the time it's just luck, right? If you don't see it, you can't play it. And if you don't play it, then it doesn't, you know, it doesn't get popular. And then there's all the sea of stuff that does, that is out there, that is successful. It's not even that successful. You know, it's far and few and far between when you get this breakout hits, right? And adventure games are niche, or a niche or niche. I like to say niche sometimes. I used to say niche. I used to say catch instead of cash, you know, because I'm not French, so I'm not going to say cash when I meant catch, you know. And I don't care if it's a different kind of word and it's spelled differently, you know. I'm American. I speak American English. You can make fun of me, call me names or whatever because I don't speak proper English because I'm not, you know, British was, you know, the UK was the origin of English, and so they speak it more properly than I do, and blah blah blah, you know. And I don't have any problem with you. What? Uh, 3D rendering and Toon Shader is a little bit easier than going full 2D frame by frame. Well, 3D maybe it kind of depends. If you're doing drawings, you can do a stick figure and you can put it on the screen in a few minutes, and it's not that harder, right? 3D, I have to learn rigging, I have to learn modeling, I have to learn how to do the animation and stuff, and 3D collision. So there is some extra stuff into it. So I'm not saying it's trivial, but 3D might be easier for you. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that I guess it depends on where you're coming from, right? I can make some animations. I can put them on the screen. I can do it in fairly simple and quick fashion, right? Anyways, what was I getting to? Anyways, Maximilians won't be slim like a stick figure. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. No, I plan on doing some nice animations, nice character design and stuff. You know, whatever my abilities can do, or whatever my bank account will allow, if I ever make any money, because it looks like I'm not making any money. Anyways, going back to the reason it's taken so long is it's just there are concepts in here that I can't wrap my head around. That I have to keep reading about, or I have to keep asking somebody how to do stuff. I was driving the guys crazy and let them Dare, the channel on Afternet, you know, the LD24 competition. Those guys, I was building a Tetris clone in Windows 95, and well, it was actually when I had Windows 98, maybe. No, it was still Windows 95. Anyways, um, and I was trying to figure out how to like have these pieces like rotate and stuff, and I couldn't get it. I just couldn't. When I ask somebody something, they tell me stuff, and then I just and my brain just won't do it. So I kept asking them and asking them and asking them. It's the same question. I was trying to do it in different ways, so there'd be some angle that my brain would go, oh, I see what you're saying, and it just never happened. And so I annoyed the crap out of them when I did that. And it's just like, um, I've never been diagnosed with a learning disability or anything weird like that. I'm not dyslexic that I know of or anything like that. But when I'm trying to learn something, my brain just doesn't want to work. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to learn stuff. Let's see. You make use of this 3D character extensions. Okay, what are you putting up here? Human character generator and editor. That seems cool. How much does it cost, or is it free? But it's for Blender. Hey, I might could use that anyways. Especially even for drawing. Pose some stuff and come up with something, and I can sketch over it and whatever. Anyways, I'll look at this. GNU, the GPL 3.0 or later. Okay, that's cool. Here, I'll even bookmark it. But I'll put it in, like, I don't know, other bookmarks, which I'll probably never look at again, because I always bookmark tons of stuff and I never look at it ever again. But anyways, good starting point at the very least. Yeah, okay. I'll take a look at it for sure. But so there are certain things that I couldn't wrap my mind around, and so I figured, you know what? Why don't I just break this down into the simplest version that I can do, and uh, instead of doing the big thing like it is, and everybody kept telling me, make short little projects, to make tons of them, and until you and don't do this big, huge, ambitious game and stuff, and blah blah blah. And yeah, I mean that's fine, but I've been doing little stuff all my most of my programming life, since I was a teen in high school, which is, if you can believe it, um, I went to I graduated in '94, so I was in high school in, we'll say, 1990. It'd be September of 1990. In Oregon, at least back in the day, school started in September. So it would have been probably September of '90 that I went into high school as freshman. So you know, I was I was like 15 or 16 when I started programming, and here it is a lot of time, right? 95 to 2025 is 30 years, right? So we're talking 30 we're talking 30, 35 years somewhere in here, okay, off and on. So don't think like I've done a ton of programming for 35 years, but off and on I've been programming for about that long. I've been doing these little games. I've completed a few. I haven't actually done an adventure game like from start to finish, but I've done a number of things now. And proof of concept sketch of your game with still full story would be a visual novel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so well, this is how this phase system kind of worked out. So I figured, okay, so what's the simplest form of an adventure game? Well, the simplest form is, okay. So let's call it a narrative game, a narrative-based game, story-based game, right? It's a story game. Um, what's the simplest form of story game? Well, simplest form of story game, wagon toe, wagon toe. I don't know if you're talking about something like Oregon Trail, or if you're talking about there was a game that I actually did the programming for, a mobile game called Wagon Toe, believe it or not, that I did for someone. But in any case, um, okay, so the most basic form of a story game is a choose your own adventure. I mean, it's not even a computer game. It was a book that where you change pages depending on the choice you wanted to make. You know, if you want to enter the door on the left, you turn to page 84. If you want to go in the door on the right, you turn to page 97, right? And so I figured, you know what? That's the most simplest form. So why don't I develop my game? I'll take my story for my game. I'll develop it into a choose your own adventure. And again, this is not even a real choose your own adventure. A real choose your own adventure will have multiple endings. Sometimes they're negative. Sometimes they're positive. It just depends on what you want to do. Um, but this is more an interactive novel, you might say. I don't mean visual novel. I mean interactive in the fact that you get to go through different choices, and the choices don't even really mean much because um, I'm keeping my narrative straight. Because a full adventure game, you can have choices matter, but adventure game is still a story that somebody tells. The one you were talking about, you did the programming, but was like RPG. Um, no, Wagon Toe, not Wagon Toe. That was a little I don't know. I guess it's kind of like a strategy sort of a strategy kind of deal. You're going west and you run into Indians and bandits and bad terrain and um, I guess you could kind of think of it sort of like a Oregon Trail ish kind of a game. Um, but no, I haven't. I didn't make a RPG or whatever. But in anyways, so I'm kind of going. Okay, what's the most basic form of narrative game? Choose your own adventure. Okay, so I present text. I give you choices, and you hit a button. You go to those choices, and so that's easy. Later on, I can start adding stuff. Um, because this is uh, the way a choose your own adventure book goes, it goes from start to finish. In other words, sometimes they might have loops, but um, it's only loops. You go to the same pages again if you pick the same choices, right? But it's mostly forward. So um, how do I say this? You're not when you go to a room, you don't go back to a room. Like a regular adventure game, or a regular text adventure, or full graphic adventure, you have a room that you go into or a location. I mean, it doesn't have to be a room like a room in a house. It can be a room in a house, but it can be any location that your character goes into, right? Um, a lot of times you can revisit. So I can go south, and I can keep going south, and then eventually I can go around, and eventually I make my way back to the original village or something, right? Or the original town or whatever it is. And um, the town is a location or a room. The saloon, inside the saloon, or your living room. Let's say you're just doing a really small story-based game, and it all takes place in your house. So you have a living room, you have the bedroom, you have the kitchen, right? You have these different rooms, the actual rooms, right? Um, and you can go to any room that has a door or has a way to access it, right? You go up the stairs, you can go to the bedrooms, you can go back down to the stairs, back to the living room, back to the kitchen, back to the dining room. You can go in and out. You can implement inventory management of any sort. Yes, but like I said, it's one of the feature phases. Right now, I figured I'd knock the story out in this part of it. That when I got to the text parsing part, the only thing that I have to worry about is how do I parse my text? How do I manage my inventory? That sort of thing. Inventory is actually its own phase, which comes somewhat after the text parser. I did the text parser part early, or at least I put the text parser phase in an earlier phase because I can do the same commands that I'm doing here. And so instead of hitting one or two, you actually have to type in a command. You'll type in one. At one point, you're going to type in the command. You're going to type in one, or you're going to type in north to move north or whatever. So it is going to have a parser, and it is going to have inventory management. But like I said, that's a later phase. But that's like a building block, right? So I have a text parser that does everything that the game does already, except for the input method is a little bit different. That's all. So instead of hitting the one key, the one button on your keyboard, you'll be typing in a command. It will still be the same number. That's why each of my choices in the engine are strings. They're strings because eventually they're going to make actual commands that you type in, and that it will be able to parse these commands. But yeah, so yeah, I'll be having inventory management. It'll have the full thing. It'll be the full thing. It'll be a full text adventure when I'm done. It'll have regular rooms that you go into, locations that you can revisit, depending. That it'll have save states, and by save states I mean you'll be able to turn on the light switch in one room. Say you went into the kitchen, you turn on the light, and then you left the kitchen and you went upstairs for a while, and then you come back down, and the light's still on because you turned it on. So that's going to be in there, but that's at a different phase, right? Because it's another little building block. So I even have I probably already showed you this, and anybody that's been listening or been watching, they probably have already seen it here. Let's open a new tab, and I actually put it over here, development. And actually, I have to insert another phase in here, which is the dialogue system, because I completely forgot that you want a dialogue tree. So sometimes I'm gonna want dialogue puzzles in there somewhere. But okay, so basic choose your own style, right? That's phase one. Phase two is separating the navigation. So instead of do you want to go? Um, I don't even know if I have any directionals in. Well, you probably won't be able to see it in here in the layout tool because I don't have any lines or anything written. But let's see something here. Let's look at this. Uh, one, to attempt to put it in another section. Two, to take it to the reference desk. That's not really directional either. Well, let's see. I don't know if I have any directionals in here. I mean, you'd think I'd have more in here. But the way these, cast the object translocation, cast the clone conjure. In fact, these lead to the same thing. In fact, you do both deals. The only difference here is how you read it, at least at this point. Let's see. Anything? Do I have it? I don't know if I have. I don't know if I have an example to show you how phase two is going to work. Let's quit to project, quit to project list, and let's pull up phase one again, so that I have everything out here. Best way, cast band inside night school. I don't really have anything showing the a directional choice just yet. While inside night school, John learns a princess was going to speak at Princess Prep but never made it. Someone tells him the knights are using real weapons and the dragons are terrorizing small villages. I'll probably have a little bit more in here. We have I have several tents in here. You have the enrollment tent. You have jousting. The jousting field is going to be funny because I'm going to put a couple of knights riding ostriches. Just a little homage to the game Joust from Atari from back in the day. But so yeah, there's maybe here we go. This might be a little bit better here. Wizard U. No, Hubertson Wizard U. Okay, so we're on the night school grounds. Okay, and here let's just read this page here. Within night school grounds, two knights are standing in front of a statue of a knight. They start discussing the disappearance of Sir William. The unicorn steps up to a pool in front of the statue, but behind the knights. The unicorn notices the man's face for a moment in place of his own reflection. The two knights say they don't think even the wizards at Wizard U could help, and then they leave. The unicorn walks up to the statue and recognizes it as the face he saw in the reflecting pool. The unicorn leaves Night School grounds to search for Wizard U. So the unicorn's going to be heading for Wizard U, but so maybe you're moving west and to the reflecting pool or something. Um, I it's kind of funny because I split these up kind of on purpose so that I wouldn't have uh, uh, too much on one person or one path or whatever. Okay, so the that's why I need to map it because I don't even know where the reflecting pool is in relationship to the other tents right now. Uh, John sneaks in the Princess Prep, Zanzibar, blah 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 blah. Wizard U Library, Lapswood. Um, you might not even go to the. Anyways, let's see something here. Wizard U Library, Wizard U Hall, Wizard U Entrance. Okay, Unicorn walks up to the door of the Wizard University. Unicorn tries to push open the door but doesn't budge. Unicorn then gets a running start and rounds the door with his horn, then goes inside. Um, just inside the door at Wizard U, the Unicorn reads a sign that hints at the library. The Unicorn passes through the Hall of Fame. So you might be going north. Okay, so um, that's not true either. Okay, so say you're in the school, you're in the foyer, and the first thing you have is the hallway, and so you can go south through the door through the entrance, so you can leave Wizard U, or you can go north through the hallway to get into the Hall of Fame. It's literally the first hall in there, and so I might do a thing where I say, hit N if you want to go north, right? N for north, or hit W for going north. Maybe I do WASD keys for north, south, east, and west, right? Um, north, south, east, and west. Maybe I do north, south, east, and west because we're not doing this like this is not an action game, so I don't need WASD for as far as like you're not uh, you're not doing a first person here. But yeah, I was just kind of trying to show a little bit of where where phase two would kind of work. And I don't really have anything for that because it's just a story. It's just like he goes to here, he goes to here. It's I don't have it like a directional right now. But I'll have a navigation. I'll set up things for going north, south, east, and west, and that sort of thing, and going up and down. Basically, so that later on I can make them into actual rooms that actually have doors. So you have an east door and a west door and a north door and a south door and up door and a down door, and you won't necessarily have all those doors in at the same time because some directions might be gone, but specifically I'll be having these directions for each of the locations depending on where you can walk, right? So you should be able to go back and forth. You should be able to go. I should be able to go north through like I should be able to go. Let's say your living room is I don't know. You enter the front door. Your living room's to your right. Your kitchen's to your left, and the dining room is to your north. Right. As you enter in. So I'll be having a deal where the kitchen has a door on the right, on an east door, right? So it'll have an east door, uh, and the living room will have a west door that goes to the kitchen. So a west door and east door. They'll be proper doors. They'll be proper exits or whatever. so the navigation system was to separate that. So for when I do that, then room independence for reusability, and this is going to be probably going to take a little bit longer because what I need to do is I need to make sure that all the locations that are the same, they're all going to be in one file. They're going to have different choice sets depending on where you are in the story. So they'll also have their own particular text. So it'll be just kind of like the way I have it now, but all the rooms there'll be like one for each actual location here. Now I have that open, I think. Did I or did I? Um, Here I can just go back up to here, go to rooms. Okay, so look at Hebert Home and 1 through 14. So there's 15 of these. Now, technically, by class, these are all individual rooms. They're just individual pages. They're not. They're the same location. They're his home. In fact, actually, even this is not correct because there's different places in his home. There's the study and there's the hat room. There's a foyer. There is there's a couple of different things here. Um, but these will all be compressed in like a single or like a couple of different pages, right? Cerulia. Most of these are Zanzibar. A couple of these are John when he gets there. So maybe I'll divide these up into John Cerulia's and Zanzibar Cerulia pages, right? So that it'll be like a single file. So there'll be a lot less files that allow you to go to each different room. Independent and reusable by decoupling their descriptions and choices from a single linear path. And the idea isn't really to change anything. In fact, it's still going to act like it does. It's just not going to be so many files. It's going to be like a single file for several different pages of the same location at different time periods, basically. Okay, now we have multiple player characters, and that's going to even add some more complexity. When I get to multiple player characters, I'll allow you to switch off depending on when they split. So when John and Hubert split off, and John goes to night school and Princess Prep, and Hubert goes to Wizard U and Fairy God College, you'll be able to switch between Hubert and John kind of when you want to. So like when you get stuck, when I actually have puzzles in there, it won't have puzzles at this point. But when you start having puzzles there, uh, you'll be able to switch in between Hubert and John in case you get stuck. You get stuck on one, you switch over to Hubert. Maybe you can figure out some stuff from him. Maybe I can find a way of kind of using hints from one for the other. Maybe there's something that they say that that you overhear when you're with John that you can switch over to Hubert and then solve a puzzle because you heard a hint or whatever from the other thing, that sort of thing. And then five is when we start adding audiovisual elements. Now, I don't expect necessarily that these three are going to take as long as this does, because this is all the text I need to write. So I gotta write 80 more pages of stuff, and actually it's going to be more than that. It's duplicated, right? I add choices and stuff, but getting 80 pages done, right? Taking me the 4 months to do that, and then it will take me at least that much to write the narrative pass. The narrative pass is going to be, like I said, like a story. It's not going to be just events. It's gonna have a little bit of color, a little bit of humor, dialogue, actual dialogue. It's gonna read like you're reading a novel or a story. So hold on a second. Okay. So that's the multiple player character phase, and then the audio visual elements. So what I'm going to start with audio visual elements is I'm going to figure out how to add music into the game, into the engine, or however you want to say it. And I'm going to find some public domain or Creative Commons stuff, maybe some classical, doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna put a little bit of background music while you're reading, essentially. So it's not gonna change the game any, but it's gonna add that. And then I'm also gonna add. I'm gonna start doing thumbnails of certain scenes, and I'm gonna put the thumbnails in as just some static graphics occasionally. So then you have something to watch while you're reading the thing, right? Okay, and then and in 6 is when I introduced the parser. Now the parser, like I said, is gonna have you're gonna have the same commands. It's not gonna have many different commands. It's not gonna act that much differently, except you're gonna have to hit the command, whether it be a letter or a number or whatever it is, and then the enter key to enter it in. Because it's a string, it'll parse the thing together. It will do the thing based on what you parse together. Um, I might uh, I might have something like a go north or something. I might have a verb noun um, kind of a setup where you tell it to go north and um, it will switch to the north